Hello everyone, hope you're all well. I wanted to continue on my legend series, and today I wanted to give someone who is widely regarded as the greatest fast bowler in the modern era, and I don't think there is any dispute about that. And someone who has the best strike rate of any bowler who has taken more than 300 wickets or 400 Test wickets, and someone who was Test Cricketer of the Year in 2008, and also the Wisden leading Cricketer of the Year in 2013. I'm talking about South Africa's ferocious, very aggressive fast bowler Dale Steyn. He was born 27th June 1983 in Phalaborwa, the Limpopo province of South Africa, which was very close, which was the next province where I lived in Nelspruit, and I've been there many times when I was working with Caltex. And I'm also proud to say that I have two friends in South Africa who both scored hundreds against Dale Steyn at the under 19 level, and I used to play with them in the club team, both of them. And Dale Steyn, in all, he played 93 Test matches and he took 439 wickets with 26 5-wicket hauls and 5 10-wicket hauls, which is a lot. And in one day, he played 125 matches and he took 196 wickets with 3 5-wicket hauls. And in first class cricket, he took 618 wickets with 35 5-wicket hauls and 7 10-wicket hauls. And Dale Steyn has a world record in his name. I mean, he has a lot of records. One of the world records he has is he was the Test number one in rankings, in the ICC Test rankings. He had the number one Test spot for 263 weeks, which is a world record, and that was between 2008 and 2014 when he was at his best, and that is a world record. And he's also the fastest South African to take 100 Test wickets when he broke Hugh Tayfield's record. And he was instrumental in South Africa's first Test series win in Australia in 2008-9, and that was Australia's first Test series home defeat in 16 years, which was a massive achievement by South Africa. And Dale Steyn is one of the main reasons, or if not the main reason, that South Africa got to world number one as a Test team under Graham Smith in those times. And in that Test series against Australia, that second Test in Sydney, I remember I was in South Africa and I was following the match. South Africa were in trouble at Sydney, the SCG, and South Africa were 141 for 6. And Dale Steyn put 180 runs partnership with JP Duminy, and South Africa got to 459 runs and got a big total from a very bad position. And Dale Steyn also took 10 wickets in that Test match. He had taken 5 wickets in the first innings and he also took 5 wickets in the second innings. And he was obviously the man of the match. And that was South Africa's first Test series win in Australia and their first defeat at home soil in 16 years. And he also had an amazing Test in India also around that time at Ahmedabad. It was a second Test match, and in the morning of that Ahmedabad Test, South Africa demolished India, and India were bowled out for just 76 runs in around 20 overs. And Dale Steyn took 5 for 23 and bowled excellent. I mean, I remember watching that spell. I mean, he was like unplayable. And Dale Steyn obviously had sheer pace, and he used to swing the ball very late as well. And that made him a very, very difficult bowler to face. And he also had a very fierce bounce, and he could swing the ball both ways, but the outswinger was his main weapon. I mean, at that pace, the outswingers that he had really caused problems for many batsmen, and he used to really trouble all the batsmen, all the teams around the world. And many Australian batsmen I've heard, especially I heard Mike Hussey, a lot of them say that he was the best bowler that they faced in that time, and he was the most feared and difficult bowler to face. I mean, he had extreme pace, and he used to bowl regularly about 150 km per hour, and his fastest recorded was 156.7. And he was also called the Phalaborwa Express, as you would expect. And Dale Steyn was a very aggressive bowler. I mean, his bowling and his body language was also always aggressive, and he was extremely passionate about the game of cricket. I mean, he loved taking wickets, he loved troubling batsmen, and he used to celebrate his wickets very passionately as well. I mean, he's someone who gave 100% all the time and wanted to win. And he was more obviously effective in Test cricket as well. I mean, one day matches he played 125 matches and took 196. But one day cricket he didn't really perform that well like a test match. But in test matches, he was an absolute match winner, and he gave trouble to all the batsmen around the world. And his strike rate in test cricket is 42.3, and that is the highest, best strike rate for any bowler who has more than 300 or 400 wickets. And he also is the fastest to 400 test wickets in terms of balls bowled, not in terms of matches played or innings played, but in terms of balls bowled. Dale Steyn is the fastest ever to reach 400 test wickets. And he had injury towards the end, otherwise he probably would have played another couple of years, but he had a lot of bad injuries towards the end. And Dale Steyn also was on the receiving end once that sad match in that World Cup in 2015 that was held in Australia, where South Africa were playing New Zealand in the semi-finals, and the second last ball of the match, Grant Elliott, the New Zealander who was actually South African born, he hit a six of Dale Steyn over long on. And South Africa went out of the World Cup of the second last ball of the semi-finals. That was a very heartbreaking moment for South Africa, especially Dale Steyn, Morne Morkel, who was in tears on the ground. A.B. de Villiers was the captain at that time. And Dale Steyn regards A.B. de Villiers very highly. He has always said that his biggest problem was the IPL when he had to play against A.B. de Villiers. He rated A.B. de Villiers very highly, and there was this one match where A.B. de Villiers hit him for 3 sixes, I think, in 1 over. He did play for Royal Challengers Bangalore, Dale Steyn, and he was excellent. And he's still involved with some of the teams as a coach, and he was an amazing bowler who had a sheer pace and swing and bounce, and he had everything, and he was really ultra aggressive. I mean, I always used to talk about Alan Donald being very aggressive. Dale Steyn was exactly the same. And even his eyes, he had these fierce eyes, and he used to stare at the batsman, and he was ultra aggressive. He never gave you an inch as a bowler. And as a batsman, you were always under pressure against Dale Steyn. So a lot of things to say about Dale Steyn. I mean, and definitely he is regarded as one of the greatest fast bowlers of all time, and without any doubt. And definitely in the modern era, I mean, he was the best fast bowler. He was a complete fast bowler with his, especially his late swing and that outswinger that he had at his pace. I mean, that was very difficult to face as a batsman, and a lot of batsmen struggled against him, and he was very successful against the top batsmen as well. I mean, he really gave troubles to a lot of batsmen. I've even seen duels with Sachin Tendulkar, and giving Sachin Tendulkar a very hard time in some of the spells that he used to bowl. And that match in Ahmedabad when he took 5 wickets for 23 runs proved that he could bowl on Asian wickets as well. I mean, he didn't need the assistance of the pitch. He was really fast through the air, who could bowl consistently above 150s, but sometimes he used to reduce his pace a bit to get more accuracy, and he was very accurate as well, and he had an excellent Yorker as well. I mean, he could just run through a batting lineup in a spell. I mean, he was one of the most feared bowler at that time. And because of him, I mean, Graham Smith's South Africa became world #1 test team, and South Africa won a lot of test series in a row, and South Africa were like unbeatable at that time. I mean, South Africa were like the Australia of the 90s and 2000s for a few years when Graham Smith was captain and Dale Steyn was the spearhead of the bowling attack, and Morne Morkel was there, Philander was there, A.B. de Villiers, Callis. South Africa had a dream a few years in that time, the golden era of South African cricket, where South Africa really dominated Test cricket. And Dale Steyn was definitely the main reason why South Africa dominated Test cricket and became world #1, because in Test cricket, obviously, you need a bowler who can really bowl, and obviously in Test cricket you have to take 20 wickets in a match to win a Test, unlike one dayers or T20s where you can just restrict opposition. I mean, that's where Test matches where you see the quality, the best fast bowlers or the best spinners who are match winners, who are wicket takers, and also batsmen who have a better technique, who can bat long instead of 50 over or 20 overs where you just have to go in a few overs. So there is a difference between Test cricket and one days and the shorter formats. So that is my video on Dale Steyn, who is definitely the greatest bowler in the modern era and one of the greatest fast bowlers of all time, who was an absolute champion fast bowler for South Africa, who put them on the top of the ICC Test rankings. A lot of great memories of Dale Steyn, and people would definitely remember Dale Steyn with a lot of excitement, who had a lot of passion and who gave his 100% all the time, and who had the skill to match his passion and excitement as well. Thank you, everyone. Take care. God bless you.